Hey, it's MK. So I thought today we are going to do the telephone hop, and I am up first. So I was told it was my layout, my inspiration, whatever I wanted to make. And I'm like, oh my God, that's just horrible. I'm a follower, not a leader. So what do I have on my desk? First of all, I want to show you guys the inspiration. This is something that I picked up on Pinterest. It was just a pin that somebody posted. There wasn't a link or anything for me, so anybody that knows where this layout came from, let me know. But today we are going to scrapbook basically in the middle of a move, and we got to go to the laundromat. So this became our everyday little thing that we did for quite a while until I got a washer and dryer and out of storage. So I wanted to scrapbook that. I have my entire moving into the house scrapbooked, and then of course where I altered the house, I guess. Remodeled? I think remodeled is better than the word altered. Anyways, I'm using the workshop sticker book. Is this the workshop or Factory 42? It says the workshop collection. I had both, so I'm not really sure which one this is. So I have a few stickers picked out. Workshop collection. This one is just from a paper pad that I pulled out. Workshop collection and workshop collection. So yes, I'm working with Heuser Craft workshop collection. Those are the papers. I flipped through here and there's like one or two stickers. I pulled one and then I was flipping through and I thought, oh, there was a couple more. Plus I think I'm going to use these alphas for like a title or a subtitle to a bigger title. I have this really old, it's from Close to My Heart, and it's like a color ready border, so I'm going to pull out my sprays. I have a few more of these little like pebbles from 49th and Market. Oh, they call them wishing bubbles. I've always called them pebbles. I also have a bunch of scrap circles from another project that I did. Well, a couple other projects. Those ones are also from another project that I did. I have this teeny tiny itty bitty little scrap ribbon, which I was going to put behind this one, like so. I know it's going to be tiny, you're not going to be able to see it, but it was sitting on my desk and I threw it in with this. And then I also picked out some stickers. These are all Close to My Heart from the No Worries collection a couple years ago. And then again, I pulled this out of this book, and then I flipped through and found a few more wordy stickers, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get wordy on this layout because the title is going to be big and then there's going to be a subtitle, which is pretty much my journaling because I don't have a whole lot to say about I've journaled through the move and everything else and getting a house and all that good jazz. So one of the things, I turned the camera on before I was going to mix media all of this. I also have, I believe I have this stencil that looks like this circuit board, and I think I want to do that. So this will be my background page. This is the page that I picked for my background. It's probably going to go like this. And what I want to do where there's journaling lines, I wanted to do the circuit board and maybe do a little bit over here, but not a whole lot. It was just a thought. Every time I do, then I think it looks like poo, and so I don't do it. But I do want to pull out the stencil and play with it for a little bit, probably off camera just in case, because I'm still a little gun shy about that. But I am going to spray this, and I think I'm going to spray these a little bit more. These were created, I made an entire page with the brushos, which is the little crystals that come in a little container, and you sprinkle them all over the place, and then you spritz them with water, and then they make a mess. So I have that, but this one is a leftover from another project as well. But I thought about like adding this silver, adding this little gray, because I do have some gray that I would like to add to this layout. All right, stop talking, get creating. I'm going to go get my sprays. I'm going to go get my stencil. I'm going to go get what goes in on the stencil. I'm not sure what it will be yet. I'll probably stick to my tried and true blender brushes with ink, because the other stuff scares me. I'm just being honest. But I'll practice with it first and see if I like it. If I like it enough, then I will, I'll use the, what's it called? Mousse? Embellishment mousse? Anyways, I don't know what it's called. Texture paste. Puffy stuff that you put in there. I'm not really sure. So let's get making a layout. Shh. Make a layout. Make a layout. Make a layout. All right. So I went ahead and pulled out my small stencil book, and I went to go look for my circuitries. And then I thought that I would check out another stencil that I possibly had, which I thought that this plumbing one would be kind of like funny because you are going to the laundromat. I don't know. In my brain, it was funny. And now I'm trying to figure out the ink that I want to use for my stencil, and also to the spray that I want to put, you know, that kind of sort of matches. I don't want the gray to be too bluey to where it just looks like a darker blue, things like that. All right, now that that has been decided on, I'm going to go ahead and cut the papers for the layout. And I'm pretty much sticking to the sketch on this one, kind of, sort of. Once I start going into the embellishing, then I kind of veer off into left field. But as far as the papers go and how I want the layout to look, I do stick with the sketch pretty close. So yeah, cutting papers. I'm pretty sure that's mesmerizing for some people. I don't know. For this wood sheet, all I wanted was the blue. I am keeping to the grays and the blues, so that's pretty much, I cut off the section that I wanted. I didn't even measure it. I didn't even bother with, is it too thick, is it too wide, whichever. All I cared about was the length based off of just eyeballing the sketch. That's kind of what it is. And I know that the blue is like bam in your face. So I do know that it is going to get mostly covered up. I think I put it on the top though, once I figure it out. My intention with the notepad paper on here was that I was going to do my journaling, but I didn't have a whole lot to say. And that's why I was going to do my title in journaling. But I ended up to where I ended up, that's one of the reasons why I picked that lined paper. Here are the sprays that I picked out: Tinsel and Navy from Heidi Swapp Color Shine. And I'm just going to spray the living daylights out of them. And I did realize that when I spray certain ones, certain colors, they come out the bottom of the spritzer if I tip them too much. So FYI, just in case you guys care. This is that one ginormous circle that ended up not being textured at all. It didn't have any of the brush or anything. And then I had a clogged head right there. I am still trying to figure out how to not get the heads clogged. I feel like I store them exactly how they're supposed to. I wipe the tips off just like Tim Holtz says once you're done with them. I have done everything, but they still get cloggy right there at that little, the part that sprays out, not the tube, not the plunger, not any of that stuff. It's the part that sprays out. And so I just am trying my hardest to figure out where the issue is. All right, so I am going to start with the plumbing stencil here, and I've just got my it's like a gray ink pad from I think it's Distress. I don't think it's Oxide because it's black. Anywho, it's a gray. I don't remember the name of it. I apologize. And I am just now I'm not really I want a solid image. I'm kind of giving it more in some spots than others because I wanted that, faded in and out look. And then because it is what is that called again? The distress ink, I wanted it to be like blotchy. And it's a very subtle effect. You can't see it until actually like you're looking at the layout close up. But I can see it. I know that it's there. And that's pretty much all I was going for. I thought that I was going to put the circuit board, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself because it's just going too slow for me. But I thought I was going to put the circuit board on top of the plumbing or the pipes or whatever this is called. And I just decided not to. I really did like how these pipes kind of stuck out. So I'm going to disregard doing the circuit board at all. I don't even know if I show you guys that I attempt it. I'm not sure. But when it comes to stencils, this is pretty much all that I do. I just do the ink because every time that I try to do what's it called? I keep saying that. What is everything called? Every time I try to do texture paste or anything like that, it kind of like goes underneath the stencil and then it's just too much. I think I'm just too heavy-handed. I need to keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. I know. I just, impatience is a virtue too. So I just took some color shine and spritzed a little bit. I did both the navy and the tinsel, so that way there was a little bit of each color in there. Now I'm just trying to put everything back in place. I think I have commitment issues when it comes to that stuff. I have to lay it down and make sure that it is right. And then, I won't put that blue piece of paper down until everything on top of it is where it's supposed to go. So, yeah. And then because it wasn't straight, I decided, nope, that's where the blue is going to go. But that's the only thing I'm going to glue down. So right now I'm just going to glue my picture on one side. And then I can put everything else underneath it. I know. It's like the weirdest way to scrapbook, let me tell you. But I know that I want pieces in a specific spot, like so far underneath that photo. I don't know. I eyeball it to a certain extent. Does that make sense? Does that count? Am I weird? Well, of course I'm weird. I'm a scrapbooker. All scrapbookers are weird. So I'm still toying with that little zip strip or branding strip, however you guys want to call it. I'm still toying with it. I'm cutting off the edges. So now this will not become this little sticky border thing from Close to My Heart. It's not 12 inches anymore because I rounded the edges. I wanted it to look, oh, there's my hair. It looks good today. At least I brushed it for you guys. That's all I have to say. Squirrel. Anyways, I didn't want the border to just run off the page and not be, like it's finished. So I do like this a lot better. I actually enjoy my borders looking like they were meant to be finished rather than they are 12 inches. I even do that with my border punches. So, and I'm impatient. I'm not sure if I've told you guys that before. I am very, very impatient. And so I refused to let this little border strip dry. I just wanted to make it. And now I pull out my heat gun to get it dried. Yep, that's me. I have to make messes of my fingers and mess of my work surface. At least I didn't do it on top of the entire layout. That is what I'm grateful for, because normally I would have done that on top of a layout. Yep. So, and I decided to do the same thing with the circle after I send a text message or two. I thought I cut that out. I apologize. I'm all over the place with this fun little layout, aren't I? So I did all that work to that large circle, and now I'm checking out the smaller circles because I'm ready to put this layout together. I want to put this layout together. But first, I felt like my circles were missing something. Yeah, and here I go, texting again. Stop it. What are you saying? Who am I talking to? Oh, and another one. Here it goes. Yeah, that's my husband. Okay, that could have been left out. I apologize. I thought honestly that I took all of that stuff out. So I'm looking for a sponge to go on the end of that little blender tool right there. And I keep them in 2x2 squares in a binder, just so that way they're just out of the way. I can put them on a shelf and they are completely out of the way. And once I put this blue ink, which I think is something sapphire, something like that. Once I do that, oh man, these circles pop so well. Ha! Did you see that? Yeah. Did I ever tell you guys I was a messy scrapbooker? I really am. I'm not going to lie. So, border is dry. Border is now stuck. It is permanent. With score tape, it's not coming up. So if I change my mind, oh well, it's not going to happen. So now what I do is I start with my largest circles and I put them where I want them. This is usually how I do any kind of cluster like this. I even do this with like my, what do they call it? Random stamping. I always start with my largest stamp set because it's not only the main focus of your design, but it also takes up a much larger space, and you want to make sure that you have the gaps to fill in the smaller pieces. So, and I think what I do is I glue all of these circles because they are very textured, and it's a lot thicker paper too. It's not just plain cardstock. I can't remember what I used. Oh, I do. It is the basil marshmallow paper that I used for this. And I gotta tell you guys, when you use basil, use your words, basil, and then add mixed media to it, even if it's just water and this Brusho stuff, when it dries, it actually dries like it's thicker and more hard. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. If anybody else has figured that out, I don't know, but I think it's neat. Makes me feel like I can actually manage it and handle it and rough it up and stuff, and it's not gonna, wimp out on me. I really like it, but it is super thick, and so I chose not to pop it up. I am gonna pop up some of the circles, but not all of them. So, and I cut off that one larger circle, and now I'm going to put the other half down at the bottom. And the only reason why I did this, in all honesty, is because the layout told me to. Yep, that's the only reason why that is there. Sorry, I didn't have anything more exciting to tell you. So I decided not to use that tealy circle over there. It just didn't match the rest of the colors of what I was doing. And then I thought about this circle right here. I don't have any journaling, but it is going to be a pretty cool spot for the date. So that's why I'm trying to find a home for it, but it hasn't found a home yet. I need to get like other things off my brain first. So I'm really weird. I know that there's elements that I want to put on a layout, but the first thing that I need to do is get out what needs to be on the layout. Does that even remotely sound like it's cohesive? I knew what I wanted the title to say. I knew where I wanted the title, and I kind of knew how I wanted it to look. However, I know that I want stickers and stuff on there too. Well, since the title is kind of sort of already set in stone, let's just do it. Let's just get it done and over with, because it's in my brain, and it's probably not going to change, more than likely not going to change. So I did stick some circles behind the layout, or not layout. Nope. I stuck the circles on the layout, but behind the title, I stuck some circles. And the only reason why I did that is because the title really couldn't be read, especially the smaller words, what are they called? Tile letters? Yep. The tile letters definitely could not be read. So, and I'm sticking these arrows on really super quick. I love the idea of movement because then it kind of gives you an idea that the bubbles are moving over and up my page, like sudsy bubbles. I really like that. Sorry, I am a dork, but I'm a recovering dork. Yes, I am. But on these tile letters, they really, really got lost behind or sitting on top of just the pattern paper. But when I put that small little circle down, it popped like crazy. And then I added these arrows because I knew that I wanted them to flow through my title instead of being like around or on top of my title. All right, so now I'm going to finish up with those tile letters, and then I have this little word adventure that I cut out of a zip strip as well. It was a tiny little section of one that I just couldn't throw away. And I'm also going to finish up the embellishments. I picked out a couple more like circular elements just to continue with the bubble little effect there. So, and I'm using liquid glue on my foam because of the ink. It doesn't seem to like to stick to it, ATG very well. It seems to fall off after a while. So, and then this little piece I am popping up partially on foam because I want it to kind of overlap. So it basically, the title says Laundry Day Adventure. And then the subtitle says Living the Mini Storage Life, because we basically set up our mini storage as like a little like a little walk-in closet to where we could go and trade things out or pick things up that we needed to. That way everything didn't, we didn't have to find a home for it in the fifth wheel. So just a little FYI, in case you guys were curious how our weekends went. We visited a mini storage. What did you do? Yeah, and so this is basically it. I'm going to use these little pebbles to finish off. I absolutely love having the different textures. I've got the solid blue, I've got the mixed media blue, and now I have these little shiny blue. And I do have to tell you guys that the foam that they used on these little pebbles were they were just too thick for me. I mean, it was like 1/2 inch thick, which I'm exaggerating, but they stuck up way too much for me. So I'm basically just ripping off all the foam and gluing them down as if they were non-adhesive enamel dots. Basically, I don't mind that they do that. They are kind of domed anyways, and so having that, having just that little domed section and the shininess, I think the shininess really, really does add to it. So, and I do end up using this entire package. I probably use this package on 4 different layouts, so I think I got my use out of it. I was okay with just basically using them all up, using the rest of them, and I loved it. I had a blast trying filling up my bubbles, filling up my page with bubbles that don't really look like bubbles. So now I'm going to flip through this this little sticker book. I picked out I believe the date, so I think it's going to say 2013, I think is what it's going to say. So, and again, I am going to put it somewhere. So I thought I was going to put it in that small circle. That was my intention because the numbers were circular, so I was going to put them in the circle so they didn't stick out. And then I trimmed them all down to where they were little squares, like they were tile numbers as they were. And that's it. Here is my layout. I didn't talk very much about the process. I apologize. That's what I do. I just sit here and I ramble on and on. I get distracted very easily by what I see and what I can make fun of in my own videos. I get a kick out of it. And I hope that you guys liked this. I believe that for the telephone hop, this is round 3 because I know I did the first round and I missed the second one. So I think this is round 3. And I was in a separate group. So there's several different groups that were in the telephone hop. So make sure that you go and check them all out. Thanks. See ya.